Straight ahead this morning, an East Texan convicted in the shaken baby death of his daughter is appealing for a new trial. This comes with his execution day just 2 weeks away. Details coming up. And we're now on day 2 of the government shutdown. Still no deal in Washington this morning. What this means for federal workers, travelers, and families right here in East Texas as that standoff drags on. Plus, a giant painting takes viewers on a whaling voyage around the world. It is hundreds of feet long and shows history like you've never seen it before. We'll show you inside.
And temperatures are expected to be well above average for today, plus a couple of shower chances will be possible into this afternoon. I'll show you all the details in your forecast. That's all ahead on Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus.
Together, we're putting East Texas first. You're watching Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus.
Good morning, y'all. I'm Dana Dixon. Jesus Martinez is on assignment. Thank you for joining us this morning. It is a little bit warmer as you get ready to head out on this Thursday, or Friday Eve, as we like to call it around here. Joel's keeping a track of those temperatures for us that just don't feel like fall or October, for that matter.
Not at all. We are like almost 10 degrees above average for this time of year. That is some wild stuff right there. We got that large ridge of high pressure that's really keeping us really nice and toasty across not only here in East Texas, but across much of the country. Here's a live look at Nacogdoches on the campus of SFA. It's gorgeous out there this morning. Temperatures as you step outside are in the low to mid 60s. We got 62 this morning in Nacogdoches, 59 degrees. That's the cool spot in Center. We got 66 in Tyler. We also have 67 degrees in Jacksonville. Now, speaking of Jacksonville, we still have a little bit of dense fog in that area. 2.5 miles of visibility is what we're dealing with right now. Carthage now down to 1.5 miles of visibility, so watch out for some foggy spots as you head out this morning. Again, walking out the door with temperatures in the upper 50s, the low 60s across the area. We'll be up to 92 as we head into this afternoon with partly cloudy skies. That looks to continue into the rest of today and into the next several days here. Temperatures above average in the upper 80s to low 90s. I'll show you just how the trend will continue in your 10-day forecast coming up a little bit later.
Thank you, Joel. I'm going to give you a live look at the nation's capital this morning. It is now day 2 of the federal government shutdown. And right now, Congress remains deadlocked. Thousands of federal workers facing furloughs and possible layoffs. And late last night, President Trump posted on social media that the shutdown is an opportunity, he says, to save billions of dollars as he is starting to cancel funding to several Democrat-led states. CBS News' Tina Kraus has more.
Around the country, signs of the federal shutdown at government buildings and national parks.
The government shutdown.
Around San Francisco, tourists hoping to enjoy historical sites found only closures.
My first time, so I'm a bit gutted.
In the nation's capital, falling foot traffic means fewer customers for this food truck owner.
Right now, I don't make nothing, only 3 customers. I have 3 customers.
Capitol Hill is also quiet today, with lawmakers observing the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur. More votes on a funding bill to reopen the government are expected Friday.
Well, it ends when the Senate Democrats pick this bill up, passed by the House of Representatives, and vote for it.
Party leaders are dug in. Republicans want to pass the Clean House GOP bill to fund the government into November, but Democrats are not backing down from their demand to extend health care subsidies.
Donald Trump and Republicans shut the federal government down because they don't want to provide health care to working class Americans.
President Trump last night urged Republicans to use the shutdown to, quote, clear out dead wood, waste, and fraud.
We are going to have to lay some people off if the shutdown continues.
The administration warns those layoffs could begin in the next 48 hours. The president also moved to block billions of dollars in funding for infrastructure in New York and climate projects in 16 states that voted for his opponent in the 2024 election. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
As the shutdown continues, some members of Congress have called for a pause in their own paychecks until the federal government reopens. And with the shutdown in effect, national parks across the country, they're now adjusting. The Interior Department says some will stay open, but with limited staff and services. The Grand Canyon, for example, remains open, though visitor amenities are cut back. In D.C., landmarks like the Lincoln and Jefferson memorials that you just saw, those are still accessible. Here in Texas, Big Bend and Guadalupe Mountains National Parks could face the same reduced staffing if the shutdown drags on. An East Texas death row inmate isn't giving up his fight to prove he is innocent. His attorneys announced they filed an appeal to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals to delay his execution. Robert Robertson was convicted in 2003 in the death of his 2-year-old daughter, accused of killing her through shaken baby syndrome. Robertson's team is asking the court to stay his execution and authorize him to file a petition to claim wrongful detention. Supporters gathered outside the state capitol yesterday, calling for a fresh look at the case. They point to a state law that allows convictions based on outdated science to be reconsidered and say Robertson's case is exactly that. Robertson's attorneys also argue that new medical evidence shows his daughter's injuries don't match the signs of shaken baby syndrome and that her autopsy was rushed with no investigation into other possible causes of death.
Because sometimes you got to take the stand and you got to do the right thing. And this time we're taking a stand. And it's time for the state of Texas to also take a stand. Give them a new trial. Let's see what happens. But in the meantime, you know, we got 15 days, and the eyes of the world are upon us.
We spoke with Texas House District 8 Representative Cody Harris, who represents Palestine, that's where Robertson is from, about the push for a new trial ahead of his execution this month.
They've brought the same thing forward. It's been heard by the courts, and the courts have said this makes no change in what he did. He crushed that baby's skull and killed his daughter. So I'm sorry, it's time for Nikki to finally have the justice that she has deserved for so long.
The state argues the conviction stands despite another man with the same shaken baby conviction being granted a new trial. If all stays the same, Robertson will be the first person executed on a shaken baby death conviction. That date is set for October the 16th. 7 minutes after 7 now, a child is recovering after a horrific accident on an East Texas school campus property. And now a Tyler woman is facing serious charges. U.S. Marshals arrested 34-year-old Angel Rupke on Tuesday. Now, she's being held in the Smith County Jail on a $150,000 bond. Police say the child was first accidentally hit by a vehicle on Overton ISD property, then run over again when someone at the scene tried to help. Deputies need your help finding a Smith County man accused of scamming an elderly resident out of more than $3,000. Investigators say 34-year-old Johnny Wells took payment for asphalt work, but barely did the job before disappearing. He's about 5'11" and may be driving either a red Dodge Ram or a black Chevy. Wells has a criminal record that stretches across several states. Now, if you know where he is, call the Smith County Sheriff's Office. Two East Texas lawmakers, Cody Harris of Palestine and Gary Van Dever of New Boston, are among 10 Republicans facing possible censure from the Texas GOP. They're among 10 GOP state representatives that the Texas Republican Party may try to keep off the March primary ballot, citing votes they say go against party principles. Harris says he found out through a hand-delivered notice and claims the move is politically motivated, not about policy. He told us the effort is being led by a small group, including his primary opponent. Harris says his top priority remains protecting East Texas water resources, not party infighting. But he vows to fight the censure, even if court is necessary.
I will fight it tooth and nail. I'll make sure that my constituents understand the job that I want to be judged based on the job that I have done. And I think that's why I was elected with nearly 83% of the Republican primary vote last primary cycle, over 20,000 people. And these 5 people in Henderson County are trying to stifle the voice of those 20,000 people, and I won't stand by and let that happen.
Both lawmakers could be blocked from running as Republicans if the censure is approved. The party will vote October the 11th. 7:09, time for your morning headlines. The Trump administration is pulling nearly $8 billion in climate funding. The Office of Management and Budget Director announced the move on X, calling it, quote, green scam funding. He claims the money fuels the left's climate agenda. 14 of the 16 states targeted have Democratic governors, but the administration has not specified which projects will be losing out on the cash. Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg is among dozens detained after Israeli forces interrupted a Gaza-bound flotilla. Now, the ships were trying to break Israel's 18-year blockade to deliver aid. Activists say one boat was rammed and another was hit with water cannons. Israel calls the mission a provocation and says passengers will be deported to Europe. Protests erupted in Italy and Turkey with global leaders demanding their release. Maxwell House is getting a temporary new name, Maxwell Apartment. The rebrand highlights value at a time when nearly a third of Americans rent their homes. Starting National Coffee Day, fans started snagging a year's supply for under $40 on Amazon. The company says that can save coffee lovers more than $1,000 compared to daily cafe runs. It is the same coffee Americans have loved, they say, for over a century, just with a new twist. And Microsoft is raising the price of its Xbox Game Pass, ultimately by 50%. The top subscription tier will now cost $30 a month, or $360 a year. Sony's highest PlayStation tier cost less than half of that, at $160. Gamers slammed the move online, many saying that they plan to cancel. Price hikes for Xbox Series X and S consoles also take effect this month, a rare move for a 5-year-old system. Are you canceling? I see you pointing to yourself.
Oh, yes.
That's
$30
right?
a month, Dana. Yeah. Like, here's another thing, too, is you with the Game Pass, you don't get all these deals.
You don't.
Because not only that too, games are all digital now. So
Right.
they're not gonna, it's not like I can go into a GameStop and say, oh, I want to trade this game in, blah, 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 you're gonna get some money back. No, it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
And,
are there in-app purchases and all that stuff too?
oh, that's just the beginning.
That's
See,
just the
the gaming
beginning.
community. If y'all want to listen to me, I think I'm a good voice for it. Yes, I think it is absolutely insane. And if you wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind reading this read too for our question
go
of the
ahead.
day. So today is National Name Your Car Day. So in honor of the holiday, I want to bring you the question of the day. We want to bring you the question of the day this morning.
Right.
What was your first car? And this one's a special one. I'm not going to get teared up when talking about my dad on this one, but he bought me my first car.
Yes.
It was a Chevy Prism. Do you remember?
I do.
It was a Chevy Prism, I believe 2001 Chevy Prism. And boy, it had some electrical issues, but man, that joker, I got about 40 miles a gallon. This was back in 2016. Woo. So, boy, I was feeling that tank up, $20 going all over the place, man. And
it got you where you needed to go.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of people, I feel like these days don't respect that. You know what I mean? It got you. And I sound like one of the, the older generation, man. These young kids don't respect it. You know what I mean? But I want to know about y'all. What was y'all's first car?
Well, you probably never even heard of my first car. It was called a Chrysler LeBaron.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of that.
Right.
Okay.
It was a long time ago. It was again, in the late 80s, early 90s. I got it a little bit before my birthday because it was a good deal, and my grandparents got it for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
I loved it. It lasted me almost 10 years, so yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, that's
had it for a long, long time.
That's
and
great
finally, when I got my first job, I bought myself my own car.
Oh, now I'm not going to tell
everyone. That was
everyone.
a Mustang. You know what that is.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell people what you drive now, but it's a nice car. Yeah, you definitely upgraded.
All right, what about you, Joel?
My first car was a 2016 Buick Encore. It was like I think the technical color was like River Rock Brown or River Rock Bronze. It was really nice.
Like that.
It was my little chicken nugget, as I like to call it. It
so
looked like
you
a chicken
did kind of
nugget.
name it.
Yeah, I did kind of name it. It's chicken nugget or baby shoe. Kind of looked like a baby shoe a little bit.
Okay.
Those little, Buick Encore.
Yeah. I think I remember. I think I know what that looks like, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but
it's a nice little car. It's like my little go-kart.
I don't think I ever named mine, but if I did, I'd probably call her Black Beauty or something.
Yeah, the first car I ever got with my own money paying for it a month was a Honda Civic. 2016 I had it, or not 2016, 2010 I think. And man, I drove that joker all the way to the ground. And then next thing you know, when the stimulus money hit, that's when I got another Honda Civic back in 2020. And boy, I've been good ever since.
And you're not driving a Honda Civic.
I ain't driving a Honda Civic no more. Hey, shout out to my dad. I told you I'm not gonna cry, but my dad took care of me on that one too. I'm gonna tell you like that. But speaking of cars,
right?
Cars. What's up with this traffic?
Yeah, well, this traffic is actually pretty good out there.
Okay.
Honestly, things are pretty smooth. I think it's time to get outside to our CBS19 on-scene unit this morning. Things are looking pretty good. We got a gorgeous sunrise too. We're on Highway 64 East in Smith County. Oh man, it's just great out there. Traffic is pretty light. I see some headlights out in the distance, so traffic is starting to pick up just a little bit in some parts of the area, but man, it's a great morning to get outside for your morning commute. Let's take a look at our I-20 report this morning. Things are still in really good shape. We got 2 hours over to Dallas and an hour and 30 minutes to Shreveport this morning. 2.5 hours up to Denison if you're taking northbound, US 69 all the way up there. As for southbound all the way down to Lufkin, that's going to be about an hour and 30 minutes for you. As for some other routes, Jacksonville to Nacogdoches is still around 50 minutes this morning. Tyler to Longview is around 40 to 45 minutes, I would say. And then Tyler to Palestine, about 55 minutes. And then Tyler to Athens is going to be roughly around 45 minutes to 50 minutes. Now, one thing you'll definitely have to watch for is a couple of areas of low visibility with some foggy spots, especially over near Carthage and Jacksonville, now down to 2.5 miles of visibility and a 1.5 miles of visibility. Those are kind of the lowest spots there. There's a little bit of a noticeable decrease in that in that visibility in some of the other parts of the area, but especially if you're in Carthage or Jacksonville, definitely a little bit of a heads up there. Otherwise, it's clear all the way through this morning, clear into this afternoon, not expecting anything too significant today. Temperatures will be on the toasty side, around 92.
Thank you, Joel. Yes, we are continuing our celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, and we're highlighting the people and places shaping East Texas, one tradition at a time. CBS 19's Nayeli Carrillo got the chance to visit Panderia Nuevo Leon in Tyler. It is a family-owned bakery that's been serving up sweet bread and even sweeter memories in Smith County for more than 3 decades.
Tucked along Beckham Avenue, Panaderia Nuevo Leon is more than just a bakery and a neighborhood favorite. It's been a cultural cornerstone. Started by a father with a dream in 1991 and named after his home state in Mexico, the tradition is now being carried on by his children.
This is his little baby, and he tells me, I don't have $3, I have 4. This is his daughter, this is his baby.
The dream started with just churros and donuts in Aguas Frescas. Co-owner Yesenia remembers those days, saying sometimes they threw away more than they sold.
People didn't want us to open up here, but thankfully there's always God that's always to open up those, doors that people want to close.
She says after years of expansion and having East Texans on their side, they have been able to create a safe and welcoming atmosphere that reminds people of their home.
A lot of times we know the people that come in because we've seen them over and over. Some of them are people that we have seen for years.
For me, this bakery feels just like my childhood. I grew up coming to this very panaderia right after school with my family. And it's so special to see that tradition continues with other families here in our community.
Some of them come with their kids, and then later their kids come by themselves, and then later they make their own families and come in themselves. So it has been nice to see the next generation come in and get continue to follow the Mexican traditions of getting pan.
Today you'll find more than just conchas and empanadas. You'll find connection across generations and cultures.
Bring bread because it makes people feel better. Yeah.
In Tyler, Nayeli Carrillo, CBS 19.
And you can learn more about Panderia Nuevo Leon and other local Hispanic-owned businesses during our Hispanic Heritage Month special. Catch it Sunday, October 12th at 7 a.m. and then streaming on CBS 19 Plus. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and while it is often thought of as a woman's disease, men can get it too. Retired NFL player Tony Savage was shocked to learn he had male breast cancer after a routine check following a car accident. Savage underwent a mastectomy, chemotherapy, and radiation, and now he's using his story to raise awareness. He'll be speaking today at an East Texas event hosted by My Faulty Gene. That's a nonprofit that provides genetic testing and support for underserved communities facing hereditary cancer. Kathy Baker is the executive director of the nonprofit and is also a breast cancer survivor.
People assume that men cannot be affected by breast cancer. Breast cancer is a much smaller risk for a man, but if you do have a mutation, you are at a higher risk than the general population.
If it's running in their family, go in and get tested for that gene. I think as men, we don't want to admit when we need, if we're sick or we need to go see our doctor, but this is no joke.
Now Savage and Baker urge men to be proactive about their health and not wait for symptoms or crisis to seek help. Well, if you're interested in attending today's East Texas Previver dinner, spots are still available. You can contact the email that's on your screen right now, kbaker@myfaultygene.org, to RSVP and to learn more. Coming up in sports, it is playoff baseball time. We'll take you through the latest games and biggest highlights in just a few minutes here on Morning Y'all.
It's time for CBS19 Sports.
Welcome back, East Texas. I'm Damian Bartonic, and you know what time it is. Time to talk all things sports. I want to start by talking about a unique East Texas football team. Let's go ahead and talk about a team that's just flying under the radar. I'm just teasing y'all here. Those All Saints Trojans. Now, they're not known for being a powerhouse football program here in East Texas, but that's changing. And if you pull back the curtain and look deep into the program, hey, you'll find out. My boy Jimmy Searfoss has a look at how this program has just changed things around.
Man. There's been a lot of growing up at All Saints. 4 straight seasons with just 2 or less wins. Then last year, the Trojans' first ever playoff berth and win.
Kids last year, they went into the year not sure if they could even win. They just came into this season with a different attitude and with confidence, and it's showing on the field.
But if you've been paying real close attention, this wouldn't really be a surprise.
About 4 years ago, I started working with the middle school, and we started trying to build things from the middle school up, teaching kids just fundamentals and principles of football. Over the last 3 years, we've averaged 1 loss a year, so our middle school is 26-3.
Coach Godeke has been getting these boys ready since 7th grade.
We walk, breathe, and tackle. That's what we talk about in middle school, as we do it every day.
And now he's seeing those same fundamental skills continue to be sharpened under the leadership of head coach Kyle Freeman.
Coach Freeman just doesn't accept anything less than the standard that we're trying to set. And, you know, kids will do what you let them do. He does a really good job of holding that standard every week, no matter whether we win or whether we lose, the standard is the same.
And that standard brought All Saints from an automatic win for some teams to one they gotta watch out for. Except some teams just haven't realized that yet.
I think preseason, why we were predicted by a lot of the people who were supposed to know to lose every game this year. So, but we enjoy making them wrong.
Hey, talk that talk, Coach. You heard him at the end. He said, hey, we're proving everybody wrong, all right? That was my boy Jimmy Searfoss reporting. And be sure to tune in tomorrow on Under the Lights, live at 10 and 10:35 on CBS19, and always streaming on CBS19 Plus for the best high school football coverage in all of East Texas. To the majors we go. Day 2 of the wild card round. Guardians and Tigers tied at 1 in the bottom of the 8th until Brian Roquillo, he said, get off me, ball. Solo shot gives the Guards a narrow 2-1 lead, and Cleveland's going crazy, man. You would think LeBron returned with the way that they're acting right there. Later on, it's Bo Naylor. He gets down, smokes that sweeper out to the right for a 3-run bomb. Cleveland wins it 6-1, forcing a decisive Game 3 tomorrow at noon. Now in the Windy City, Padres hoping to force a Game 3 in their series, and that's a nice start as Jackson Merrill sacrifices himself for the team. San Diego goes up 1-0 in the first, but then in the 5th, enter Manny Machado, an absolute dog, up and over the scoreboard into left field. That adds the Padres up 3-0, and then Dylan Cease, he just had a strong opening near 4 innings, followed by major support from his bullpen. And San Diego is going to shut out Chicago. Sorry, Corey. Padres live to see another day. Game 3 coming up today at 2. And take me to New York. Our Dan Millay was stressing for this one, but hey, Ben Rice here made it a lot easier for him. This one was a frozen rope to get the Yanks up early. Hey, now take me to the tied bottom of the 8th here. Jazz Chisholm on first, Austin Wells at the plate, and he's just playing pinball. Jazz Chisholm gets on his horse. He's gone. A single gets him all the way home. Throw was not close. Yanks squeak by in this one. They beat the Red Sox 4-3. Oh man, I love it. Yankee Stadium was just buzzing there. Y'all saw it. Now, playoff baseball is just special, all right? Now, that's all the time I have for you in sports this morning, but stick around because we still have plenty of news and weather heading your way. Morning, y'all.
Thank you, Damien. Well, we're about to step away for a moment while we break into our over-the-air broadcast with a news update for you. We'll be right back with more here on CBS 19 and CBS 19 Plus. Good morning, y'all. I'm Dana Dixon. Thanks for joining us for this morning update. An East Texas death row inmate isn't giving up his fight to prove he's innocent. His attorneys announced they have filed an appeal to the 5th Circuit Court of Appeals to delay his execution. Robert Robertson was convicted in the 2003 death of his 2-year-old daughter, connected to shaken baby syndrome. Supporters gathered outside the Texas state capitol yesterday, calling for a fresh look at the case. They point to a state law that allows convictions based on outdated science to be reconsidered and say Robertson's case is exactly that.
Because sometimes you got to take the stand and you got to do the right thing. And this time we're taking a stand. And it's time for the state of Texas to also take a stand. Give him a new trial. Let's see what happens. But in the meantime, you know, we got 15 days and the eyes of the world are upon us.
We spoke with Texas Representative Cody Harris, who represents Palestine, where Robertson is from, about the push for a new trial.
Where they've brought the same thing forward. It's been heard by the courts, and the courts have said this makes no change in what he did. He crushed that baby's skull and killed his daughter. So I'm sorry, it's time for Nikki to finally have the justice that she has deserved for so long.
If all stays the same, Robertson is set for execution October the 16th. An East Texas contractor is accused of misusing hundreds of thousands of dollars to rebuild a neighbor's home. Arrest documents show 51-year-old Brian Glass of Bullard is charged with misapplication of fiduciary property involving more than $400,000. His company was hired by his neighbors after their house burned down last year. Authorities allege a large portion of those funds was spent at casinos in Texas and Louisiana. Well, now to downtown Tyler, where safety concerns surrounding the Carlton Hotel's parking garage have led to plans for demolition. Property owners say removing the structure is a major step toward making downtown Tyler safer, clearing hazards and reducing loitering around the site, that is. The project already got final approval from the U.S. National Park Service to demolish the parking garage. However, there's no timeline yet for when that could begin. All right, let's get over to Joel now. He's got a check of our forecast.
All right, good morning, everybody. Yeah, things are going to be pretty quiet as we head into today. Very hot as well. We'll be up in the upper 80s to low 90s. We'll start to see a little bit of cloud cover into this afternoon. Could have a couple of showers, too. It's roughly about a 10 to 20% chance of rain. Really small pop-up showers entering the area by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, all the way into the evening. We got some Gulf moisture coming in from the east, from a low-pressure area off over into the Gulf. And of course, that's going to bring in some occasional pop-up showers. It's been so dry, and it will continue to be pretty dry going forward here. So we have a burn ban in place for Houston County. I do think conditions for fire danger, or just for fires in general, are going to be pretty rough, especially going into this weekend. We got a little bit of a drop in that humidity and an increase in that wind speed for Saturday, so I would avoid burning anything altogether. Otherwise, it's going to be very comfortable. We'll just be on the hot side in the upper 80s to low 90s.
.30 now. Welcome back to Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus. This is what's coming up in our second half hour. In Carthage, high school students are learning how a small spray called Narcan can make a big difference during an opioid overdose. We'll show you how they're leaving class ready to save a life. Plus, Gabe and Gatlin Britt are finally able to show the world what they've been capable of all along after years of being misunderstood. Their stories in just a few minutes.
And of course, those temperatures not feeling very fall-like out there. Another thing that we're going to be watching for is that drop in humidity this weekend, and also an increase in wind speed. That could cause some issues when it comes to fire danger. I'll have all you need to know in your forecast on Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus.
Together, we're putting East Texas first. You're watching Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus.
Good morning, y'all. I'm Dana Dixon. Jesus Martinez is on assignment. Thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday morning. We have some breaking news that we're covering this morning. 2 people are dead and 3 others seriously hurt after an attack at a synagogue in northern England on Yom Kippur. Now, this happened this morning in Crumsall, that's near Manchester. Police say the suspect drove a car at people and then stabbed at least 1 person before being shot by officers. This is a live picture right now. The suspect is believed to be dead, but a bomb squad was called in over fears that he had explosives. Prime Minister Keir Starmer expressed his horror at the attack, and he announced that additional police deployment will be happening at synagogues across the UK as this investigation is ongoing. Well, more charges could be on the way after a stolen property case in Polk County ended with a major drug bust. And right now, 13 people are behind bars. Deputies say a search turned up more than 80 grams of meth and items tied to a series of local burglaries. The suspects range in age from their 20s to 70s, including Kaylin Cox and Matthew Lester, who investigators say are connected to at least 8 theft cases. Detectives say the investigation is not over. All 13 face felony drug charges, and some are also wanted for parole violations and outstanding warrants. An East Texas contractor is accused of misusing hundreds of thousands of dollars that he was paid to rebuild a neighbor's home. Arrest documents show 51-year-old Brian Glass of Bullard is charged with misapplication of fiduciary property involving more than $400,000. His company was hired by his neighbors after their house burned down last year. Investigators say subcontractors stopped working and complained of not being paid, while financial records show much of the money went to Glass's personal account. Authorities allege a large portion of those funds was spent at casinos in Texas and Louisiana. Spring Hill ISD is asking voters to consider 4 ballot items ahead of the November elections, including a voter-approved tax rate increase and 3 different propositions. In Proposition A, voters will consider a 3-cent increase to the maintenance and operations tax rate for additional school funding and pay. Now, the rest of the propositions would bring upgrades to the district facilities. And if these are passed, there will be no tax increase for residents.
The bond is for maintaining. It's not, we're not asking for anything really extra or building anything outside of our means or anything like that. We're trying to maintain our spaces so that they will be safe, clean, modern, and a good learning environment for our staff and our students. We think they deserve that.
The district's last bond passed in 2008 and is expected to be paid off by 2040. Early voting starts October 20th. Here in Texas, the CDC says nearly 6,000 people died from opioid overdoses in 2023. Across the U.S., more than 100,000 lives were lost to drug overdoses that same year, with opioids involved in roughly 80,000 of those deaths. But a small treatment could make a big difference, and Carthage ISD students got a first-hand look. CBS19's Will Riddell has the story.
Students at Carthage High School received some important instruction Wednesday, how they can save someone's life during an opioid overdose.
Everyone knows that teenagers gather, and you never know what's going to go on.
Jacqueline Schneider is a health sciences instructor at Carthage High School. Wednesday, Schneider's students learned more about Narcan, the nasal spray that can reverse the effects of an opioid overdose.
I want the general public and all of my students to know what's going on out there and also how to help people and to recognize the signs and symptoms of an overdose.
Schneider brought in Shannon Jones to speak to her students. Jones works for the East Texas Council on Alcohol and Drug Abuse. A former addict herself, she knows how important it is to be prepared for an emergency.
I've lost, unfortunately, a lot of friends due to the opioid epidemic. That one pill can kill. Just one choice can change everything.
Jones talked to Schneider's students about opioids and when and how to use the Narcan spray. Students were all given a bottle before they left class, leaving with the confidence that they could assist an overdose victim.
I think it was important just in case I go to a party or just anything in general, I can help somebody that is struggling.
A tiny bottle with a huge impact.
And if they have the Narcan with them in their purse or in their pockets, they can save a life.
In Carthage, Will Riddell, CBS 19.
Thank you, Will. Well, there is a new mission to find the aircraft of legendary aviator Amelia Earhart and solve a nearly 90-year-long mystery. Earhart's plane disappeared in the South Pacific in 1937 as she and a navigator tried to fly around the world. Next month, an expedition team will set out to confirm whether an object detected in the lagoon of a small island about halfway between Hawaii and Australia is Earhart's plane, a Lockheed Model 10 Electra.
We gathered up many more satellite images, did historical research, found other imagery that relates to it. We're going to go look and identify it. And if we're right, then we will, in fact, identify the lost Electra. We could be wrong, but I think the evidence is very, very strong that this is, in fact, what it is.
Earhart was the first woman to pilot a solo flight across the Atlantic Ocean. Last week, President Trump said he's ordering all government records about her to be declassified and publicly released. All right, let's get to some more trending stories this morning. McDonald's is like going way back these days, right?
They're doing their thing, man.
Yeah, they're celebrating the upcoming spooky season with the return of a specialty menu item. The fast food chain will make its Happy Meal Boo Buckets available to customers for a limited time. And their rollout is on October 21st, and the lineup of 5 bucket characters includes Ghost, Pumpkin, and Goblin. Love it. Now, this is new for the season, and they are also Cat and Zombie. The buckets also come with stickers that kids use to customize to their liking. This is the 3rd straight year that those Boo Buckets are on the McDonald's menu. Before that, they were an occasional item that was first debuting back in 1980. 86. So we talked about Monopoly
Wow.
earlier this week, which was an 80s favorite that I remember. And I also remember these Boo Buckets from the 80s. I loved a Happy Meal back in the day. It didn't make me smile. Because sometimes I get a little treat.
Yeah, well, for me, I haven't been able to eat a Happy Meal in about 25 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little too old for that. You know, I don't get full off that. You know what I'm saying? So now I've been on the adult menu.
It's like an appetizer.
Dana. Yeah, Dana, I've been on that adult menu since I was about 6 years old. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this: it's awesome. Y'all remember a couple years ago when they brought back the little toys that you could get, and they called it the adult Happy Meals. You remember that?
I think so.
The nostalgia is so fun.
Yes.
A long time ago, you used to get like glasses, like like glass glasses, and they would be like a collection of, let's say, characters. I think one time it was like the Muppets or something, and I was trying to get all the collection of 4. I've kept getting the same one over and over again.
It just seems like the good old days, man. I mean, I wish I could have.
The 80s, it was the good old days. I'm trying to get y'all educated on what it was like.
I do like the 80s. I do appreciate it.
Speaking of, good grief. Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and the gang, not the 80s. They're 75 years old. Charles M. Schulz's Peanuts comic strip began October 2nd, 1950 in just 7 newspapers. For the next 5 decades, he wrote and drew every Peanut strip. Today, the beloved comic strip is still featured in thousands of newspapers around the world, and the Peanuts gang featured online and syndication, and a new streaming series on Apple TV, books, and much more. Several museums also around the country are going to have exhibits and events this year in honor of the Peanuts' 75th anniversary. I asked Joel this yesterday. Do you have a favorite movie, Charlie Brown movie?
No, I actually don't remember watching any of them. My mom loves it.
Right, she couldn't get you to do it.
No, it wasn't like a tradition, but I respect it. I mean, I have a pair of Vans that are actually a collab with the Peanuts.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's, I pay my respects that way. You know what I'm saying? But no, I know it's a classic.
I like the Christmas one and the pumpkin one, and I would also force my kids to watch them. I don't think they liked them as much as me. Y'all are used to all those high-tech, fancy, animation stuff.
Yeah,
it was
CGI.
Sometimes the classics are really nice to go back to, though. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think my favorite kind of like classics. I don't know if y'all been to Disney World or Disneyland. They always in the theaters they have like little like old cartoons and stuff like that.
Fun.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, if you think your baseball card collection is worth something, wait until you hear this. The first ever Babe Ruth card from 1914 is headlining Heritage Falls Sports Auction later this month. Only 10 cards of these cards are known to exist, and this one is graded among the best. Collectors say it's one of the rarest pieces in sports history, expected to fetch millions. And it is not just Ruth in the spotlight. A Sandy Koufax jersey, a nearly complete T206 set, and even a rare Derek Jeter parallel card. Am I saying this all right? Are up for
you're doing
grabs.
great.
So if you got some of those old cards tucked away in the attic, maybe it's time to go get a second look at those. That is amazing. That card looks very old and incredible.
I had no idea that was even a thing back then.
Well, here's the thing. That card is graded a 3. You're graded from 1 to 10. So it's a horrible condition, but
it's old.
But it's old, but so it's passable. But like if one of my new cards, so I sent it off and it got a 3. Oh, guys, we're gonna have a problem. It might be a trending segment. I might have to air my grievances. You know what I mean?
50 cents or something.
Yeah,
not millions.
Yeah, but I think it is awesome though that Sandy Koufax jersey, the Derek Jeter. I try to include these segments because man, it's just they're so huge. You never realize how big important cards are.
I know.
Until you hear about every single card going for $1 million.
If only you knew to keep those. 50 years ago.
If only.
And if only we could get cooler temperatures. If only, Joel.
I know. I think we'll have a shot at it for next week, but for now, we still gotta deal with those upper 80s to low 90s. And we've been very dry lately, which is actually causing some issues with fire danger out there. Let's take a look at what we have for today. Things have kind of been upgraded, I would say downgraded, across the area. We were up to a low for most of the area. A lot of the area has been moved to a moderate risk. And then as you move further to the south over Houston and Trinity counties, that's the most likely area where it's going to be a big issue here with just the amount of rainfall or the lack of that, for that matter, across the area. Kind of is. So that's where we do have a burn ban in place for Crockett as well as the rest of Houston County as we move into today. I do expect that things will start to get a little bit worse, especially going into this weekend. Unfortunately, our humidity forecast is going to be a humid one for tomorrow and for today, but you can see that drop in humidity going into Saturday and Sunday. I mean, it's going to be feeling really nice right along that pleasant and comfortable category there. But along with that, we also have the winds starting to increase as well into the breezy category, especially between Saturday and Sunday. And you combine that with of course, the lack of rainfall that we've been having, the lack of rainfall that we're about to have, it's going to cause some issues, especially going into this weekend. Luckily, those temperatures, they're going to be a little bit above average, but we're not expecting anything to really affect any weekend plans or anything going forward here. So that's some good news there. But if you do plan on maybe burning anything going into this weekend, I highly suggest you avoid that. And of course, we'll keep you updated on the latest fire danger risks as we go forward here. We'll get into a little bit more of your forecast, especially when it comes to the temperatures coming up in a little bit.
We always got to give you something to smile. It's 7:45 this morning. After years of silence, 18-year-old twins Gabe and Gatlin Britt are finally able to share their thoughts and dreams with the world. Sean Giggy has their story.
At birth, there was nothing to suggest 18-year-old twins Gabe and Gatlin Britt of Heath were autistic. Until about a year and a half.
They weren't talking, they weren't really responding to their names.
The boy's mom, Sarah Britt.
I always held on to hope. As they got older, like it would, that hope kind of got a little dimmer, I guess you can say.
Sarah says she and her husband remained optimistic, assuming the boys were fully competent.
Figure out what we need to do to help them.
But what proof did they have?
First, I was kind of in denial.
Educators had spent the boys' first 15 years teaching them at about a first grade level.
It broke my heart, if I'm being completely honest.
Likewise, Gabe and Gatlin can't speak and had no way to prove they understood anything. And then, a couple years ago, Sarah took the boys to a local clinic to try something called RPM, Rapid Prompting Method, which in some cases has helped people with autism communicate. And after just 2 visits, boy, did Gabe and Gatlin have a lot to say.
It was like a box just unlocked and just all of this beautiful stuff came out.
What was it like for people to think that you were mentally disabled? Gabe and Gatlin spelled their answers using a letter board.
Very hurtful. Anything else? Very frustrated and often felt sad and alone. So I want the world to know that I am so smart and I'm a person that matters. Gabe, do you want to do even numbers or odd numbers today?
Both boys hope to go to college and then pursue careers in science and medicine. Ever since you've had a way to communicate, how has it changed your life?
So my life was always good. Now it is even better. So now I really have it all. Now we are even more blessed.
And happier.
Looks like we're going to be learning a little bit today about George Washington.
Sarah says the boys are in a far better place.
That is correct.
With a world of pain behind them and so much potential ahead.
And I feel very fortunate that I just get to witness that and watch them shine like I always knew that they could. I think that's been the greatest thing, is just for the world to finally see Gabriel and Gatlin for who they are.
That is really, really sweet. I'm glad they were able to find their voice there. Hey everybody, hope you're having a good morning so far. Things are looking to be pretty nice as we go into this afternoon. Temperatures definitely above average for this time of year. Definitely does not feel like October at all. We got upper 80s to low 90s in store for this afternoon. Kind of a mix of clouds and sun as we move further into the afternoon and evening. Got a couple of chances for showers as we work our way into this afternoon. We got some moisture coming in from the Gulf from a low pressure area off to the south and east. That will trigger a couple of showers combined with the heat of the day, but very, very few and far between. Most everybody will be staying pretty dry as we head into this afternoon. We'll see high temperatures today in the low to mid 90s. Once again, we're roughly going to be about 8 or so degrees above average. Our average now, 84 degrees. High today, looking to be around 92 degrees. So how crazy is that? Now, as far as the rain goes, it's not going to be all that impactful here, maybe up to about 1/10 of an inch at the max. It's really going to be few and far between over the next 3 days. And really the only decent chance of rain is going to be for today as the humidity starts to drop this weekend. And we'll take a look at what that will mean in your forecast coming up here as far as fire danger goes. But we also have the Air Fest going on at Tyler Pounds Airport on Saturday. Should be a beautiful day to go out and see that. We got 80s by the time we get to noon, and then we're up to the upper 80s to low 90s by 2 o'clock. We got that light breeze holding on. Definitely make sure to bring some water with you as well. Drink enough water. It's going to be definitely a toasty one. Very summer-like out there. We'll also have some partly cloudy skies to work with as well. Tomorrow, slightly cooler than today, but still warm nonetheless. Not looking at any chances for rain. We'll be up to 90 degrees, mostly sunny skies. And for the next 9 days after that, it's a very quiet forecast. We got a couple rain chances going into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday as the humidity starts to increase again. Notice those low temperatures in the upper 60s instead of the low 60s. That means that the humidity is going up and the temperatures will be going back up into the upper 80s to low 90s potentially before a cold front comes in on Thursday with temperatures potentially dropping into the low to mid 80s. Looking forward to that, y'all.
Okay, today is not trying to just put that all together. National. Let's go with that. It is National Name Your Car Day. So in honor of the holiday, let's bring you our question of the morning. It is, what was your first car? I told y'all mine was a Chrysler LeBaron, and I got the question from a viewer that I always used to get. Was it convertible? Because that was the one you wanted.
Oh, really?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It was a hardtop.
So
and it didn't come off either.
So that was a car in the 80s, right? Or the 90s?
80s, 90s, yeah.
90s. Okay, so it seems like that era, convertibles were like the thing.
It wasn't, especially in this car. It was the thing, but I had the other one.
One of my dad's first cars was a Volkswagen Beetle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was, and
some called it a bug.
Yeah, I think he might call it that, but he's really big into racing, and so don't tell anyone. But yeah, he used to love to drag race and stuff like that.
Do you remember the movie that they had about they would race the little beetles, bugs, whatever you want to call them? There was a movie. It was like Herbie and the
Herbie the Love Bug.
Yes, that it.
Yeah, he would know.
That's a Disney movie.
Yeah. Yes. Joel would know for sure. It sounds familiar.
He wasn't born in the 80s, but he should have been.
Yeah,
I do appreciate a lot of things from the 80s.
People are telling us their first cars. Vicky had a '65 Ford Mustang. I bet that was nice.
Oh,
Mine was like a '90-something Mustang.
Yeah.
I loved it, but it was, not that. Terry had a '65 Pony Mustang, and I've never heard of this one before, Jackie, but a Pontiac Ventura.
Oh, that sounds.
Oh, okay. I've seen that before. Yeah, I grew up with a Pontiac Montana minivan. That's what we had as a family. Yeah.
I think the only Pontiac I'm familiar with is the Firebird. I think that's what it's called.
Yes, I have a buddy that has a 1970 Pontiac Firebird. He loves cars.
All these cars, the '65, Mustang, the Bugs. Man, if those are in good shape, I mean that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know you have a new Bronco.
Oh yeah.
But would you rather have one of the old ones?
Oh man, the old ones are legit.
Right.
Yeah, no, they are. I'm a sports fan, so the Bronco is a little bit weird for me. You know what I mean? There's a lot of history with that car.
I know,
but
right?
I do like the new one. But I would not mind the old one. Someone that I like a lot, Stone Cold Steve Austin, has a old Bronco that he says, "Hey, I'll take it and drive it anywhere."
Yeah, they redo them and refit them, and they look nostalgic, but like so cool. But I love the new ones too. My boys have one too.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
It's a good car. All right, we're going to step away for a moment while we break into our over-the-air broadcast with some news and update for you. We'll be right back with more on CBS 19 Plus. Good morning, y'all. I'm Dana Dixon. Thanks for joining us for this morning news update. This weekend, family and friends will honor the life of Morgan Wright. She is the Lufkin ISD speech pathologist, tragically killed in a crash earlier this week. Wright was hit during a police chase involving a 16-year-old driver in a stolen truck. She was also the wife of the Wells ISD superintendent. Visitation is set for Sunday at 10 a.m. at Caraway Funeral Home in Lufkin. Graveside services will follow at 2 p.m. at Midway Cemetery. State troopers are now leading the criminal investigation into that crash, and an internal review is also underway. We are still working to learn more about the crash and the events leading up to it. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and while it's often thought of as a woman's disease, men can get it too. Retired NFL player Tony Savage was shocked to learn he had male breast cancer after a routine checkup following a car accident. Savage underwent a mastectomy, chemotherapy, and radiation, and now he's using his story to raise awareness. He'll be speaking today at an East Texas event hosted by My Faulty Gene. That's a nonprofit that provides genetic testing and support for underserved communities facing hereditary cancer. Kathy Baker is the executive director of the nonprofit and also a breast cancer survivor.
People assume that men cannot be affected by breast cancer. Breast cancer is a much smaller risk for a man, but if you do have a mutation, you are at a higher risk than the general population.
If it's running in their family, go in and get tested for that gene. I think as men, we don't want to admit when we need, if we're sick or we need to go see our doctor, but this is no joke.
Now, Savage and Baker urge men to be proactive about their health and not wait for symptoms or crisis to seek help. If you're interested in attending today's East Texas Pre-Vivor dinner, spots are still available. You can contact the email on your screen, kbaker@myfaultygene.org, to RSVP and learn more. All right, let's get a check of your weather as you get ready to head out on this Friday Eve.
All right, good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great Friday so far. Thursday Eve, or Thursday. It's Thursday, everybody. As we head into today, we are going to be watching for a couple of showers into this afternoon. We'll be up into the upper 80s to low 90s. A couple of showers, again, will be possible. It roughly adds up to about 10 to 20% chance of rain as we go into this afternoon. The most we could probably see from these showers are likely going to be around maybe up to about 1/10 of an inch. That's how few and far between these showers are going to be. Most everybody will be staying dry. Because we've been so dry, we do have a low to moderate, even high risk for fires, especially as you go further to the south over Trinity and Houston counties. That's where we do have a burn ban in place, and conditions for fires are going to worsen as we head into this weekend, so definitely would not recommend burning anything. Otherwise, it's going to be feeling great with that lower humidity. Temperatures in the upper 80s, still holding on to above average temperatures through the 7-day forecast.
Before you go this morning, an East Texas man is just days away from execution. Robert Robertson of Palestine was convicted in the 2003 death of his 2-year-old daughter. His lawyers argue outdated science was used in his shaken baby conviction and are pushing for a new trial. Supporters rallied at the state capitol calling for the case to be re-examined. Now, if it stands, Robertson will be the first person executed in Texas tied to a shaken baby death. And day 2 of the federal government shutdown is leaving a mark across the country. Some national parks are closed or operating with limited staff. Thousands of federal workers face furloughs. And small businesses near government buildings are losing customers. Congress remains in a stalemate with Republicans and Democrats blaming each other. More votes are expected by the end of the week, but the White House warns that layoffs could begin within 48 hours if no deal is reached. It definitely feels warmer out there for this time of year, but hopefully soon we'll get some relief. Joel?
Yeah, I do think we'll have a cold front that will be coming in sometime next week, probably within that Wednesday, Thursday time frame, which we'll keep a close eye on as we head forward here. But for today, still going to be dealing with those above average temperatures, very summer-like in nature. Got upper 80s to low 90s in store for today. A couple of showers could be possible as we do have some Gulf moisture that is starting to move its way into East Texas. So a couple showers again will be possible. Most everybody will be staying dry, however. Your 7-day forecast is a very quiet one as we go forward here. Mostly sunny skies as we move into Friday. Still temperatures in the 90s, and then we got upper 80s for this weekend. Mostly sunny skies from there, and then humidity goes back up into the first part of next week, and those temperatures also increasing to the low 90s once again.
Well, if you're looking for a weekend adventure, head to Winona, Minnesota. It's going to take you a minute, where history stretches nearly 1,300 feet long. The Minnesota Marine Art Museum is home to the grand panorama of a whaling voyage round the world. A massive painting so big it can only be displayed in sections, from calm seas to erupting volcanoes. It captures the highs and lows of life at sea and a slice of America's history. Visitors say it's not just a painting, it is an experience that you won't ever forget. That's pretty cool.
That is really neat. It's almost like a movie, you know, just kind of moving.
It is.
Those pictures, but it's a panorama. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that is sweet.
Have you ever tried to take a panorama picture on your phone?
Oh yeah, never comes out good.
I know. What is up with that? I can't make it happen.
Yeah, that's always all choppy. You know what I mean?
Because you gotta move really slow. Really
and then if someone barely moves, they're in one frame and the other one's like that. You know what I mean? It's all messed up.
So I can only imagine how hard it was to paint that.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. Speaking of a slice, man, I need me a slice of some breakfast, man.
Oh, is it time?
It's time.
Maybe a slice of pizza, as we saw yesterday.
Oh, yeah, cold pizza.
A slice of pizza right now?
Yeah, that was the answer.
That was the answer to our water cooler question yesterday. A lot of people have that for breakfast.
Like
really?
On a semi-annual basis, or regular basis,
Oh,
not semi-annual.
That's funny. Okay.
You gotta add this to your breakfast routine.
Oh, I might have to.
All right, he's hungry. We gotta go. Thanks so much for continuing our day here on CBS 19's Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus. You can catch the noon show coming up on both locations, CBS 19 and CBS 19 Plus, and keep it here for the latest news and weather throughout the day. Hope you have a great morning.